in the home stretch here, right now is probably your last chance to do any color tweaking if you want to. So I have the warp layer selected at the moment right here. That's our big one that we're, the real big color shape. If you want to make color changes, image adjustments, hue saturation, and you can tweak this hue slider a little bit if you want to. I wouldn't go too far because that triangle that we set may or may not look a little weird. Then you might have to edit that inner triangle, but if you want to shimmy it a little to the left or a little to the right, that could be good right there. I like that. You could mess with saturation. Maybe you want to really deep fry this thing and up the saturation. Maybe you don't. Maybe you want to go more subtle. Maybe you want to lower it. I think I'm going to up it by a smidge right there, and then I'm going to hit OK. All right, so we're going to edit a background feature here that I think is fun and easy, and it makes the project look a whole lot better really quickly. So we have these two colors, the same ones that we used for the triangle, actually. I'm going to be kind of applying them to the background. If you look at this copy right here, this layer 1 that I have, that's essentially what that is. It just kind of puts a little bit on there. So I'm going to click on my background layer here, and I'm going to make a new layer. And we're just going to leave it called layer 1. We need a gradient. The gradient tool is right here, and it is the gradient by default. Paint bucket's underneath it, and we will be using that for future projects. Hopefully your colors are still the same that you use for the triangles. I would recommend just leaving them, but if they're not, double click them and then go quick pick 2 colors from somewhere within your projects. Then, what you want to do is click and drag up your project. They make a straight line up, pretty far up, and then let go. You'll see that the color goes from one to the other. If you would rather reverse it, simply start at the top and drag to the bottom. And then there you go. The further you drag, the further the blend. Like if I don't drag that far, see how it kind of leaves that at the top right there? I want a good bit of a blend. So maybe, nah, it's not far enough. Maybe something like that right there. Now we need to lower this layer's opacity. So I have layer 1 selected. Up here is my opacity at 100%. I'm gonna crank this guy down all the way to mid to low 30s. That way you get a little bit of color in there, but not a whole lot. Background is still relatively dark, okay? All right. Filter effects. We're gonna do it on layer 1, and we're going to do it to warp. So we go to filter up here at the top, and you're looking for filter gallery right here. In filter gallery, you're looking for film grain. You can find it where I am right now. You can zoom out a little bit, but 100% or 66.67, whatever it is, seems to show well. These are the settings that I would recommend using. For your background, I wouldn't go as super heavy on the grain on the background, so I'm gonna go 15. Highlight area, please leave that 0. Intensity's up to you. I like 6, but totally your call. You can kind of tweak them around. Grain, anywhere between 10 and 20 is good, and then hit OK. You won't notice it when you're zoomed out, but if I hold Command and hit plus a few times, and if I go over there, you will see a cool texture to your background. Now we're going to put it on warp. So select the warp layer, filter, filter gallery, film grain. I like that thing at, yeah, you don't want it to be too much on this one either. That seems to be a pretty nice mix, and then I will hit OK. And then we want to put it on warp copy. So filter, filter gallery, film grain, and I'm going to lower this one down pretty far because I have the other one on already, so we'll just do a subtle one at 5. And then there we go. There's our film grain on the rest of the project. Looking pretty nice. All right. Some extra little circle elements, some text, and we're done. I'm going to make a brand new layer here by hitting this plus sign up here in the top, right there, layer 2. And then what I'm going to do is I am going to go down here to shape, and I'm going to hit the ellipses tool right here. Oh, I'm sorry. How did I get to there? Just in case. It might be rectangle by default or whatever shape you last used for your center. Click and hold or two-finger click and choose ellipses. Up in the top, you will see fill and stroke. On fill, we don't want any at all. So click on fill and hit this red slash right here. The stroke, you want white. And in my opinion, you want 3 pixels, px right there. Now, if you click and drag anywhere, I like to hold down shift to make them perfect circles. You will see that you make a circle, and then you can do it again, somewhere else, somewhere else. Now, they're gonna appear blue right now, but don't worry, when we're done, they will not, I promise. So that was on this layer here called Ellipses 1. Down here, we can do a couple things. Properties window reappeared because we're making shapes, so let's get rid of that again. Hit close tab group. And if we click off the ellipses layer, back to triangle, you should see your white triangles take effect. You can click on this layer, like the whole layer, and lower the opacity a little bit if you felt like it was like a little too obtrusive. I like that, somewhere in like the 60s. Seems to look nice. So right there, I'm satisfied. Got the circles intermixed with the triangle shape. So now it's text, and we're out of here. So the text folder right here, it's at the top. I'm gonna eyeball it back in. This arrow right here that you see by the folder, if you click that, will open up all the stuff inside of it. I don't know if we need it opened or not, but I'm gonna leave it open just for this part. I'm gonna zoom in on this stuff down here. So I'm gonna hold Command and hit plus a good bit, and I'm going to scroll down with 2 fingers. I don't know if I said how to do this earlier in the videos, I forget. If you place 2 fingers down on the trackpad and move them around, you will see that it shimmies it around. I'm not clicking, my 2 fingers are just subtly resting on the trackpad. So, title, right here. I need to title this. So I'm going to hit the text tool right here. It looks like a T on the left side of the screen. The hotkey for it is actually T. This is huge. I need big focus right now, actually, because this can make this whole process an absolute nightmare for you if you don't pay attention to this. Right now, look at my cursor. There's a box around it, right? Now look at my cursor. Doesn't have a box around it. When it has a box around it, if you were to click, you're gonna see lorem ipsum appear. If that made a new text layer. Lorem ipsum is a default text for when you first start typing. You don't want that. If you do that, you have to unclick off of it, you have to go to the layer, you have to hit the trash can, hit ES, and go back to the text tool and get ready to do it again. So you want to make sure that that box goes away, hover over the E in title, click, and then you can just backspace your way out, and then you can call it whatever you want. Lava flow, I guess, right? All right. Then ingredients. This is where what makes up your thing. Like if you look over here, I did neon waves is what I called this, and I just looked up literally the ingredients that are in one of those glow sticks, and those are the things that are in a glow stick. So I'm gonna hover over this S again. Look at my icon right here to right here. Okay. And I'm going to click, drag, I highlighted the whole thing. Egg, flour, chocolate. Is that how you spell chocolate? Probably not. Ooh. Okay, that's good. Just egg, flour, chocolate. This you won't need to delete, or won't need to change. This will probably be the first one that you made, and it'll be the year that it is, or the school year that it is. For me, this is my second example, actually. So I'm going to click on the 1 and change that to 2. That's just for me. You don't have to do that. Designed by, where it says your name, right there. You can highlight your name, and I want you to type your actual name. And then you can click off of it. I've been clicking the move tool each time after I name or do something, because then that way I can kind of move the screen around again. And then created using, you don't have to change, because we use those programs. So I'm going to zoom out. I'm going to take the marquee tool, just because that like ends up deselecting everything. You don't see the move tool icon. And there it is. There's my second finished product. So I have one, let me zoom this one out so you can see that like they do look different. Like you will get different results than the next person. Pretty noticeably actually too, which is really cool. I'm going to make a third just by myself because I've actually been enjoying making these. So you'll kind of see all 3 of my examples by the time it's done. But this one's for the video. All right.